Story 1. A purring cat is one of the most calming things to be close to. Story 2. Actually being single with no dates, just you living alone and getting to know yourself. Story 3. Go outside and get rained on until you're soaked to the bone. Then come back inside and warm up. Story 4. Hardship teaches you so much about yourself and the world around you when you have hit rock bottom. Story 5. As a man who witnessed childbirth, I found it a stressful and chaotic marathon of emotions. It was messy and beautiful at the same time, like nothing I had ever experienced. Story 6. True meditation is the ability to focus on nothingness and embrace it, letting it take all of your worries away. Bonus points for listening to the Skyrim soundtrack or the Lord of the Rings soundtrack while doing so. Story 7. I have told several people over the years. For once in your life, experience the satisfaction of a job well done. Give yourself that. Story 8. Being young and attractive, even if it is just makeup, shapewear, and a good wig or hairstyle, changes how people treat you. Life is a little easier. When I was younger and healthier, before genetics caught up, I would do my makeup, style my hair, wear heels and a nice outfit. People held doors for me and smiled when we passed. Shop owners and farmers market vendors sometimes gave me things for free. Even being flirted with felt good in retrospect. Now I have aged, had children, and my health problems have taken a toll on my mind and body. I look back on my younger self with envy. I took it for granted. For a long time I felt not good enough, not pretty enough, and I tried so hard to be perfect that I did not realize how good I already had it. Now I do not even get a second glance. I am either invisible or treated unkindly. I notice people look away quickly before making eye contact when I try to smile to avoid interacting with me. Everyone should experience being beautiful at least once in their lifetime. Story 9. Having a good job and being fired will change the way you view work. It happened to me 25 years ago, and I never put the job before family or friends again. Story 10. This may sound odd, but a perfect compliment is rare. Everyone receives many compliments in life, but many are shallow, false, forced, or given just to be polite, consoling, generic, widely applicable, prompted, trying to gain something, or unintentionally patronizing. Few occasions exist when someone remarks on something personal with no motive other than the moment of recognition, without expecting a reward, with genuine sincerity, and without knowing they were reaffirming something you were proud of that no one else had noticed before. Story 11. Roasting hot dogs and marshmallows around a campfire with good friends. Story 12. Sitting on the beach staring out at the ocean at 3 in the morning by yourself. Story 13. Songkran, the Thai New Year in April, is literally a nationwide water gun fight. I avoid it like the plague now. I lived there for 7 years, but it is fun the first time or two despite the guilt about wasting water. Story 14. Stepping out of one's comfort zone can help. For example, if you are uncomfortable with lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, visit a gay bar. If you are fearful of Muslims, visit a mosque. If you are afraid of heights, go to a tall building. Story 15. Financial security. A full night's rest. These come hand in hand and are a lot less common as the days go by. Story 16. Flying first class on a flight that serves a meal is a nice treat when you usually fly coach. The extra legroom, comfortable seats, and other perks are especially welcome. Check for upgrade discounts offered a few days before your departure. Story 17. I hope it is a quick, painless death, even if you deserve it. Story 18. Community service includes volunteering at an animal shelter, cleaning up beaches, shores, and parks, reading to children in public libraries, and planting trees. Story 19. True love. The feeling you have while cuddling with the one you love, as if bodies fall away and you reach a soul-to-soul connection. The sensation of safety, like arriving home after a long trip. A surge of passion, like flames around your body. A beautiful madness that makes life worth living. Yes, I am in love. Story 20. Sex. I don't think any adult should die a virgin. Not everyone experiences love, joy, or happiness. Sex is close to those three things. A similar feeling when done correctly, or at least ecstasy. Story 21. A world with no child abusers, slavery, violence, religion, politicians, starvation, loud painful noise, forced sleep deprivation, humiliation, helplessness, poverty, nursing homes, group homes, psychiatric ward medications, jail, cancer, chemotherapy, rabies, Alzheimer's disease, or Parkinson's disease. Story 22. People cannot reason, question, cry, or pray their way out of everything, but they make it through and discover that, although they do not have total power, they do have some health, happiness, freedom, peace, and friendships. Some people, however, have always managed to question, reason, or talk their way out of situations at other people's expense, and it shows. Story 23. Total choice and control over their own lives without controlling other people's lives. Story 24. Take an all-inclusive vacation in a small, beautiful country such as Malta or Cyprus at least once. Story 25. Hunter, we live in a time when it is virtually impossible to be without food or unable to find something edible. While it is not a pleasant feeling, I think real hunger changes your thinking quite a bit. A lot of people I know who have experienced hunger are less likely to go on shopping sprees or to overspend, which, these days, is one of the most strangely normalized behaviors. Story 26. A quick act of kindness to someone without expecting anything in return or capturing it on camera to gain views or likes. Story 27. To know what it's like to be loved for exactly who you are. My wife showed me that love, and it is soul-cleansing. Story 28. Watching a sunrise in complete silence. It's a reminder of how small we are and how beautiful the world can be. Story 29. Being broke. Some people's children seriously need to know this feeling. Mommy and daddy will not be around forever. Story 30. Purchasing your favorite technology with your own money after working hard. Story 31. Japanese A5 Wagyu nearly turned me into a vegetarian because I knew that meat would never taste the same again. Story 32. 3. 4. Methylenedioxymethamphetamine. Buy a test kit to make sure it is actually 3. 4. Methylenedioxymethamphetamine. That's important these days. Take it with a friend, a loved one, or with a plant in a happy place. Story 33. A snort, a sneeze, and a fart at the same time, preferably dry. Story 34. Nobody should be forced to live with other people. Let everyone live alone. Story 35. Pooping your pants by accident as an adult is a really humbling experience. Bonus humility points if you are around other people when it happens and you have to awkwardly walk away pretending everything is okay and you did not just shit yourself. I was really sick with coronavirus disease 2019 when it happened to me, and it was awful. I think all of my ego evaporated in that moment. Story 36. Watching a sunrise from the top of a mountain is humbling, peaceful, and makes you feel tiny in the best way. Story 37. Their hardworking, honest efforts bring them success, rewards, and victory 90% of the time. Occasionally they work very hard and still fail or feel rejected. So they offer understanding, respect, compassion, and forgiveness to others who are sometimes unable to do something. Story 38. Always have access to and benefit from positive physical and mental activities and healthy, flavorful foods. Story 39. Skydiving, deep-sea diving, the love of a dog and of a woman. Story 40. Laughing so hard with other people that tears run down your face. Story 41. The beach. I live 3 hours from the Atlantic Ocean. It is always astounding to hear about people who have never seen the ocean in person. Story 42. I work in the food industry. Many family members tell me my job must be a cushion to lean on compared to their office work, but they have no idea how little it takes for it to become pure hell. Story 43. Intimacy with someone who loves you and whom you love. Overcoming a great obstacle in life, such as depression or other hardships, will challenge you. Discovering a passion. Story 44. Having a dog is a joy. A dog's love is purer and more unconditional than any person could provide. Story 45. A very large protest. It's interesting to see it yourself, then watch how the news cherry picks it for their narrative. Even if you just observe, everyone should see one. Story 46. If you like milk, Have it as a beverage with your popcorn. It will change your snacking life. Soda with popcorn is trash. Story 47. Living alone without roommates for at least a year teaches you a lot about yourself. Story 48. Forget this and buy an airline ticket. I got a ticket with my dad's airline points while dropping him off at the airport, then later booked random trips the night before. It is possible to just get up and go with a wallet and cell phone. You do not need to buy much, just be savvy. Story 49. If people experience being fat, I think they would treat others better. Story 50. I think everyone should spend 5 years dirt broke so everyone would try to help others gain wealth instead of only a few having it and everyone fighting for scraps. I am not saying everyone should get good things after the 5 years, but a lot of well-off people never struggled, so they think those who are struggling are doing so because of bad choices. I know a lot of people who have struggled because of their parents or other circumstances, and some are never able to get back on their feet because family issues happen or they are injured in an accident because the jobs they work for are too cheap to provide proper safety. I do not know. I have never had money and probably never will, because if I have it and you need it, I am probably going to give it to you depending on the situation. Story 51. Everyone should work at least 1 month in a retail or hospitality job, so they stop being rude to the workers. They are human beings. Story 52. Working in customer service. Bonus points if it is also physically demanding or involves overnight 12-hour shifts. Story 53. I am going to get criticism for this, but heartbreak is real. I did not like it, and I am sure no one does. It really opens your eyes and often causes a person to change. Sometimes for the better, but often for the worse. Story 54. I observed Lent for 40 days, abstaining from sugar, meat and animal products, sex, and alcohol. It was a mystical experience. That was 7 years ago, and I have not consumed alcohol since. I became vegan 5 years ago and have been training regularly. It was a great midlife experience. Story 55. Late night conversations around the campfire. Many of my best memories come from those. Story 56. A customer-facing or retail job might lead others to treat the worker with more respect because they will be able to relate. Story 57. Accountability. Fairness. While good behavior may not be rewarded every time, bad behavior is never rewarded. Good behavior is never hindered, questioned, or punished. Story 58. A different country. Empathy for someone who is not related to you or in the same social or demographic class as you. Being homeless. Story 59. Having an excellent full-time career doing meaningful work focused on results in an honorable, successful organization of smart, skilled, kind, open-minded, future-focused people and enjoying fun activities on days off. Story 60. Loving, loyal, healthy, logical, scientific, compassionate, fun, and brave. Family, friends, spouse. Story 61. I am trying to survive at least 1 year in the service industry. Story 62. Fact-checking the news. My American college did not allow us to cite American news because those outlets do not cite their sources. An undisclosed trusted news source is not an actual source. The greatest thing I learned, in my opinion, is that life has been much better knowing the news is pure propaganda. I also retired before age 30 because of this. Story 63. Speak your mind even when it is not advantageous to do so. If something seems wrong and speaking up might get you in trouble, you are more likely to feel better in the long run if you stand up for what you believe is right instead of playing the games expected of you to avoid conflict. I just picked an argument with a moderator on a subreddit 2 minutes ago because they claimed to be a support group but told me I cannot offer any opinions or thoughts that do not validate what the original poster already feels and thinks. How can you support someone by lying or letting them believe falsehoods? It is more like a group where people are validated as they move toward a cliff. When they go over, others say it is a shame and then root for the next person to head the same way. Story 64. Either the military or a very busy kitchen. I come from a military family and became a chef. The camaraderie in both the military and busy professional kitchens is very similar, especially the shit-talking. Story 65. Failure and rejection are part of life. External voices say it is okay to fail. The important thing is to move on. Too many people have never learned what it means to fail. They always say it is someone else's fault and that things are unfair. Deal with it, princess. Stand up, straighten your crown, and move forward, knowing you have gained experience to do better next time. Story 66. Being helped unconditionally when you have abandoned hope. Story 67. Slipping through a crack in the bureaucracy where you do not meet any criteria leaves your progress blocked. This quickly shows how disorganized the bureaucracy is, how little it cares, and how powerless you are, and may change your view of government competence. Story 68. Volunteer in a palliative care ward at a hospital or hospice. It puts your life and problems into perspective when you see people with terminal illnesses. Life is short and uncertain. Cherish your loved ones and be kind. Everyone is fighting their own battles and seeking happiness. Story 69. If you are able, consider moving away from your hometown or state for college, temporary travel, a long road trip, or a permanent relocation. Even if you return, it may be the best decision you ever make. Story 70. Being punched in the face and the fear of it happening again change society for the better. Story 71. Traveling alone is incredibly empowering. Exploring a new place on your own terms forces you out of your comfort zone, helps you learn more about yourself, and makes every discovery feel like a personal victory. Story 72. I see the night sky filled with stars, unobscured by pollution. Story 73. A fight of some sort, not necessarily a street brawl, but in a closed ring or octagon. Everyone thinks they will handle themselves well in a fight, but actually being an amateur in boxing or mixed martial arts reveals a lot about oneself. Story 74. When I was a kid, going out in the rain in my swimsuit was the best. I was shocked as I grew older to learn that few kids did this. I think everyone should try it. Just be sure to run a hot bath for when you come inside to warm up. Story 75. Having an AskReddit post reach the front page and receiving invitations to secret groups. Story 76. Depression. So they know what they are talking about when giving you advice. Story 77. Sharing an uncontrollable giggle breakdown with a 2-year-old over something funny you said or did. Story 78. If people heard the sound of rockets exploding, no one would want war. Story 79. Lysergic acid diethylamide at night on a virgin beach, watching the stars. Psilocybin mushrooms work. 2. Story 80. Privacy. Feeling safe and protected. Being away from abuse, anxiety, and stress. Peace of mind. Feeling seen. These may seem simple, but they are not. People go their whole lives without experiencing love from anyone. Story 81. Working in retail or the restaurant industry can be difficult. People treat others with such disrespect because they cannot imagine themselves being on the receiving end. Story 82. If you're a golfer, get your game together and play a really nice course at least once. Story 83. Voluntarily overcome hardships and struggles that help people realize they are stronger than they thought, mentally or physically. By voluntarily, I mean choosing challenges such as going through boot camp, losing weight, finishing school, or improving at math. Story 84. It was a severe medical emergency. I had a spontaneous pneumothorax 3 times in 1 year and underwent video-assisted thoracoscopic surgery the 3rd time to prevent recurrence. Learning to get my breath back and no longer living in fear that I could be back in the hospital at any moment with a long recovery made me really appreciate life and the little things. 3 years later, I feel normal again, though I still have some anxiety. I sing in a band, and the idea of not being able to sing while my lungs crackle when I breathe makes me really appreciate all I have now. It is 4 a.m., so I hope this makes sense. Story 85. Go whale watching from a boat. Take Dramamine for seasickness if you need to. It's an amazing experience. Story 86. The totality of a solar eclipse, not 99%. Story 87. One of those horrific cocktails that people warn against. The White Gilgamesh is a mix of goat milk and lightly carbonated beer or sparkling water. Lighter carbonation results in a flavor similar to sourdough bread. Heavier carbonation tastes like instantly spoiled milk. Story 88. Having worked in retail, I guarantee we would all be kinder to retail workers if we had ever been in their shoes. Story 89, having kids is hard. I am lucky to be able to provide, but I wish I could have more. Story 90. When I finally felt financially secure, my life choices and my view of risk changed significantly. Story 91. Being at a peak or high level of fitness. Putting in a hard but sustainable effort and just flying while running, cycling, or swimming without your heart feeling like it is going to explode. Story 92. Working in retail makes me think that if everyone had to work in retail, some people would behave better in stores. Story 93. Pooping yourself in public is kind of life-changing. The thoughts that start running through your head are surprising. Story 94. 5 grams of magic mushrooms under the right set and setting. Story 95. Going to a movie or a restaurant alone, or any activity traditionally seen as social, opens up your inner world. You become more comfortable in your own skin, free from the fear of judgment, and able to do things at your own time and pace. Want to go to a movie but a friend is busy? You can go by yourself. Want to try the restaurant you discovered on Instagram? Nothing is stopping you. Doing public activities alone lets you immerse yourself in ways a group cannot. Story 96. A meal from a Michelin-starred chef really changes how you view food. Story 97. Somebody who truly cares for you, not just superficially. Story 98. Experience other cultures. Travel if you can. It really broadens the mind and allows you to engage with people from different walks of life. It may not make you smarter, but it will make you more understanding. Story 99. Traveling alone is such a powerful experience. Stepping out of your comfort zone, exploring somewhere new, and relying completely on yourself. Story 100. Sunrise on the beach. A full moon rising out of the ocean. Bobsledding down a hill while it is snowing. The laugh of your grandchild. Story 101. I deal with the ugly side of life. As a firefighter, I encounter death, destruction, and tragedy daily. For better or worse, it changes you and gives a different perspective on life. Story 102. Sleeping under the stars in the middle of nowhere, with no lights and no noise, just pure silence and the universe above you. Story 103. A live birth, preferably your own child. If you choose to be childless, at least the birth of a mammal. Story 104. Think solely from one's own mind and know one's true thoughts with no external influence. Story 105. Face punches. Entire generations of grown adults have been raised to believe they should never be punched in the mouth for talking shit, and it is destroying our civilization. Rabid Karens roam the streets, foaming at the mouth and screaming into people's faces because we do not just knock their teeth out. Story 106. Everyone should be required to complete 24 hours of retail or restaurant service. It would make the world kinder and more patient. Story 107. For me, it is efficient public transport because we do not have that in my country. Story 108. I think living alone for about a year really helps you learn about yourself. Story 109. Travel somewhere where you do not speak the native language. It teaches you a lot about the world and helps you become more patient, kinder, and more empathetic. Story 110. I went on a hiking trip with the Boy Scouts and we got up early one morning to watch the sunrise from a mountain peak. That scene defies description. Story 111. I traveled about 5 hours to Vermont to the Path of Totality to watch this year's total solar eclipse. It was without question the most magical experience of my life. I have had a pretty cool life and done many interesting things, but watching the eclipse, especially with my 7-year-old daughter next to me, filled me with wonder and awe I did not know was possible. Experiencing it through her eyes and knowing I was sharing a magical once-in-a-lifetime event she would always remember was a large part of the joy. I felt that I had given her a memory she could carry with her to feel close to me wherever we are. Story 112. Sliding into bed with clean sheets right after you shave your legs. Story 113. Trusting our body signals after not eating for around 24 hours, by resting and practicing water-only fasting for at least 7 days. I did 21 days with many friends. It was an amazing physical and spiritual journey into what our bodies can do and a way to reconnect with our true nature. Story 114. spend 72 hours experiencing homelessness so they know what it is to walk in someone else's shoes. Story 115. A full day and night with a lover by your side, skin to skin. Spend the entire time making sweet love, breaking only occasionally to hydrate. Story 116. Going out with your friends, looking and feeling like $1,000,000, and rejecting every guy who hits on you. Narcissistic, yes, laughing out loud, but it feels like a 10,000-point aura I will only remember. I'm too old now. Story 117. Dancing to music you love while on ecstasy is an unmatched euphoric feeling that cannot be replicated. Story 118. Study American lawfare the way Trump experienced it in order to truly understand this nation's judicial system. Story 119. A first kiss with someone who is attracted to you and to whom you are attracted. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.